Warning, spoilies ahead. Honestly, I don't know sometimes even if I was born. Maybe
Right.
I was a test tube baby.
Could be. We were
But
bred
would
to
that be
just do
such a
this.
would that be such a bad thing,
I don't think so.
To be bred for a specific purpose? At least we know our purpose in life and we know our creator.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's almost better to be a test tube baby.
Yeah, at least I don't have to sit around guessing why am I here?
It's like, oh no, wait, I was made by scientists to make this show.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, thank you and you're welcome everyone.
I have no existential problems because this is my life and this is what I was created for, literally out of a tube. This is Two Guys, One Film. 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 I'm Dylan. And I'm Dane. Hi, welcome to Two Guys, One Film. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane.
And this week for the viewer's choice, we watched Men in Black 3, or MIB 3, if that's what you want to call it. Totally up to you. Written by Ethan Coen and directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who did Men in Black 1 and Men in Black 2 and The Addams Family, and he's just a fucking cool guy. Came out in 2012, if you're wondering. I know you were wondering at home, so that's why I said it.
I was.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, and it's the third installment into the Men in Black trilogy. Let's not count Men in Black International. That movie didn't come out. I didn't see it because it looked like garbage. So this is the trilogy, the Men in Black trilogy.
I forgot about that.
Everybody else did. But yeah, so it's Agent J, Agent K doing the Men in Black thing. One of K's old nemesis, Boris the animal, escapes from his moon jail, and he goes back in time to kill K, and everything falls apart. Because this one guy did a very big thing, so, well, yeah. And that's the end of the movie, so thanks for sticking around with the show. We didn't give it a rating because nobody cares about that anymore, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Goodbye.
Okay, anyway, get back into it.
All right.
So we're on the moon, and there's already, I didn't even realize this, another musician in this movie, and that's the lady that's giving him the cake is the lady from the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, we have another musician in our midst.
Well. And then she gets sucked into space.
I don't know. I don't know the history of Flight of the Conchords or Jermaine Clement, so I don't know if he counts as musician acting or is he an actor musician. So
and
I don't want to throw him in this category. He's just here in this movie, and he's an amazing man. I love this man.
I do too. He's a great actor. He's funny, and
his fucking voice in this movie too is so good. He's just going over the top. Ha 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 ha.
I love that part.
It's almost British at times too, but then he still has like his New Zealand accent in there. When she brings in that jiggly cake, and all they do is scan it for like metals,
Organic
and it's
matter.
like, oh, it's mostly organic matter and ceramic.
Well, I mean, it was.
I mean, technically it is. They should have had a better sensor than that. You'd think they'd have better sensors.
You think they'd have like an X-ray sort of situation?
Yeah,
and
then
then
it's like,
inside of it. It's like, oh, dude, the old file and the like. Really, the old file and the cake trick.
I also want to know how she got there.
Right? How did she get there?
Like, how do you get like? I know it's like visiting hours, but like, how do you get a trip to the moon as like a civilian?
And like, yeah, because like people still don't really like know about aliens in this.
So it's like, so she corresponded with Boris, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But how did she get to the moon? Did he like...
It's cool, I'll set up transport for you because I want to see you, because you're just like my...
It ain't a conjugal visit, that's for sure. And then the guy sticks the finger in the cake. and there's a bug in it, and it shoots spikes out of its face.
It has never-ending spikes.
And
has infinite spikes.
This part it was almost a trypophobia situation, but it's not. When his like hand thing opens up,
Oh yeah,
and it's like crawling inside, I was just like, oh, that makes me feel a little bit weird on my spine. I don't know. And then it goes in. I was like, okay, cool. It's not like trypophobia. I don't know what that is, but it's just like it gave me a little bit of a tingly feeling. So I was just like, whoa.
not me. I thought it was cool. I was like, that's pretty sick.
Just look, you could just, this is weird. Maybe because like I think I could feel it. I don't know, but it was badass. And that thing, he can shoot the spikes out of that thing. It's so weird. I love that like symbiotic relationship. They don't explain it. It's just like something that he had, something that his species has, and you're just like, okay.
Well, this is where this movie, to me, the third movie, I'll just get this out of the way. I think the third movie is way better than the second movie.
Oh yeah, I don't even count the second movie.
I don't like the second movie because it was like the first movie is awesome and
perfect.
Like, you got K and you got J, and their dynamic is awesome because J's a goofball, and then you get number 2 and they made J, like, it just felt like it was about Jay, and he was like, "Look how bad! Look, I'm so cool. I'm Will Smith."
But
and
K's back.
Yeah,
and it's just hard because like they didn't double down and keep Tommy Lee Jones out of it. They like brought him immediately back into the sequel on the second one because they're like, oh, it's not good without Tommy Lee Jones. But like, I don't think they necessarily knew there was going to be a sequel. So like the first one ends in such like a good way of like, oh, he gets his life back. Oh, Jay's on the MIB. But yeah, I agree. Like the second one, he was kind of more like a whiny baby bitch. And he's like, I'm in charge, but Kay's back now. I'm still in charge. I'm a badass. But like this one is cool because they like are just like an old married couple.
It felt more like the first movie.
Yeah, they felt more natural between them.
And he was more of a goofball. Like it just felt like more normal K. Like Jay, what he was in the first movie, where he was like the cop and he was cracking jokes at people and shit.
Always smart ass into like K, and he's just like, But yeah, like that second one didn't have that same thing to it, so that's why it's like, second one bad, third one, first one good.
Like what it felt like, and I'm just gonna rag on it a little bit more.
Let's go. Hey, I'm fine with it. Let's go to number 2.
It felt like maybe Will Smith had a little bit too much like input on that one. Like, because it just felt like it was, I don't know, man, it just felt so centered around fucking Will Smith. And I know he was like hot at the time, but it was just like, okay, but that's not what this movie's about. And it just felt like he was taking it over in the second one.
Yeah, and like he's like I mean, it makes sense in the first one he's the main character because he's our introduction to the Men in Black, so we're with him with like what's going on. But then the second one, it's like there was no focal point on it, and then there's just some random like love story between like Rosario Dawson and Jay, and then this whole thing about the alien that he gave flowers to, Kay did. So it's like they were trying, and then it just like petered out.
It's just
not good. And the jokes did not land, but then
you got 3 coming along.
They took their time. I think it was just because like 2 was so fast after it. Like I know that's like what makes a good sequel sometimes is like trying to hit it while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
But maybe give it a little time to cool down.
A little time to breathe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you said, it ended so nice, the first one, that it didn't need a sequel, and it could have just they could have worked on it and made it like good because the first movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're 3, and I'll even say this, like what's cool about the third one, and like even starting in the beginning, there's a lot more like, it's more brutal.
Yeah, and like, because the first one was like, I mean, you see a guy snapped in half backwards in the first one.
Yeah.
And like people getting stabbed through necks, and I think this one also had the same balance of CGI to like puppetry as the first one did. Because like they would do CGI in the first one, but then they also did like puppets and people actually wearing prosthetics, and like there wasn't a whole lot in the second one. But this one had that good balance where you actually have like people in fucking like alien gear or like weird puppets, like
and to me, this movie did what the second one should have, which was show more of the alien guns, more of them fighting and being like alien cop Men in Black, and that's what they showed, and it was fucking cool.
I think it's cool. This one was cool because it's like Jay's more competent. They've got their shit together. They know what they're doing. I mean, yeah, they're like a bickering married couple, but they can get shit done. Like when they're getting surrounded in a place, they're like, got it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so it was nice to just see them as normal Men in Black cops because it's like, okay, cool. The story of like fish out of water aside, let's fucking just get to
Well, yeah, because it's
business.
supposed to be like 14 years later.
Yeah, so it's obviously they're gonna be like, yeah, fucking old hat, whatever.
And then you still got Jay cracking wise like constantly, but obviously cares about him.
Yeah, like he loves the guy, he just doesn't want to say it until the end.
Yeah.
But so Boris escapes because there was like blew a hole in the wall and everybody gets sucked out and then
that was
this lady go. It's like
I love how quick they get sucked out of it. Just
shoo. And then I like how he can breathe on the moon. That's cool.
Yeah,
he's just like jumping.
And
on
also
the
somehow
moon.
like his voice works.
Yeah,
air. I was like,
it's like
okay.
Well.
Whatever. Men in Black.
What I like about Men in Black is like don't look too far in the science. It's kind of like that scene from Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me, where he's talking about time travel, and he's like, "It's best not to think about it." That goes for you too at home.
Yeah,
same thing.
basically.
With the time travel aspect of this movie, best not to think about it. Just enjoy the ride.
The way they do it's cool though.
Yeah. So when he gets, and then it shows J and K on Earth. They're wrapping up a case because the way that they don't really explain it, but you kind of understand it. The way that Boris the animal comes to Earth, it's like that crashed like ship or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get that awesomeness of like, they neuralize those people. He's like, keep it simple. And then, of course, Jay being Jay does not keep it simple. He's like, when you're like on a plane and they tell you to put your phone into airplane mode, but you're like, nah, man, I'm just going to text anyway. This is what happens. So put your damn phone away. And I was like, that's fucking nice.
What was after that?
So they get in the car and he's like kind of explaining like, you don't fucking talk to me. Like, we're, blah, blah, blah. And he's always making cracks at each other. And then they get because it's Zed's funeral. So that's right.
That's
so
right. And he's going to do a eulogy. The first two,
yeah. It's like, I've worked with a man for 40 years. I know what to say. And then his eulogy was just like, I worked with Zed for 40 years. Not once did he tell me about his personal life or ask me to go do anything. And that was it. Yeah. That's so good. I like how it started out and Jay was like, all right, this is going somewhere. Because he's like, I am worried about your eulogy. Very much.
Yeah, and it's great because
good. And then it's just like,
even that lady's like, wow, that was...
Everybody else is just like, wow.
Yeah.
And then she's introduced as the new head of MIB. She's O.
Yeah.
And she does a speech from a different language of a different alien. Just like...
And that was another one of those like Men in Black 1 sort of situations.
Yeah, where it's just like something's going on and he's just like...
Yeah.
Which is cool to show that like after all this time Jay still doesn't know everything, which like they talk about in this movie. There's still a lot he doesn't know even though he's like a level 1.
Yeah, I got like access
MIB
to all
but that
kinds
lady's
of
like saying something in a different language and he's just like she's like, I'm just paraphrasing.
I love that.
So they get the call that there's some people with tapeworm parasites from the Chinese restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're alien. They're alien parasites.
Exactly. So the owner, I like how he does like the Asian accent. It's like, it's cool because it's the shop that they go to. I think in the first one, right? It's the restaurant that after he neuralizes Jay, and he's like, it's that same one, right? He's like, honey, this one's eating my popcorn. It's like, I think that's the same place, isn't it?
Now I'm gonna have
Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments, but I was just that's the place from the first one.
I thought about it, but I don't know because they didn't sit at the same table if that's where it was. Yeah. But then again,
you need to lay off the sauce. So call me in the morning. But it's funny because like the owner, he's like talking in the Asian accent, and they're like, dude, you can drop the shit. He's like, what, man? Why you got me to bust my balls?
I love that. He's like that's racist. It would be if you were Chinese. And
yeah, exactly. He pulls his thing down. He's fucking like alien. Yeah. They got the big like glob fish on the stove, and there's like that giant fish in the tank, and then that spiky fish laying on the bed of lettuce, and Kay is just like beating the shit out of the guy with it. And you find out why, because it's like Boris the animal's favorite delicacy. It's like, oh,
So
he's starting to understand, like, because K being K, the badass that he is, and the smartest of the MIBs, like, fuck, means Boris is out.
Yep. And then they go and sit down, and he just like instantly knows, like, all these guys, like, what the hell, this isn't right.
And it's cool because like they still try to have like a normal conversation, and it's the theme of the movie is a lot about like Jay, telling Kay like we don't talk, I don't know anything, blah blah blah. Come to find out why later on, folks. You'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah. But yeah, like, Kay immediately knows like something ain't right. He's like, those guys haven't ordered there, and the other guy was just eating his like fifth thing of duck sauce.
Yeah, he's just drinking it.
And like that. So we're in it, right? He's like, yep. It's like, all right. And then just like shooting the place up. Jay's gun sounded fucking cool, man. I love the way that thing sounded. But then you got aliens just blowing up, and that's fun.
Yeah.
That's the fun of Men in Black. Cool, like you said, cool guns, aliens blowing up. Just
yeah, just like and you get to see the alien weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see them being like cops, like, but like cool, like
shootout. Yeah. That one that like hits on this, like goes on the ceiling and shoots him. And then you got Jay in the back, just pounding that dude's head in with a fucking frying pan, like literally, like deflates his fucking head. I was just like, good lord, dude. Kay's having a moment. All right, let's back up a bit. But then the giant fish escapes. Oh, I do like that when he's hiding behind the bar and that girl's screaming. He's like, "I'll just keep your mouth shut and get your head down." And then when he hops over, she like grabs him with her tongue and he just like boom, slams her head. But he's fighting the giant fish, and he comes up with like the most genius thing.
Oh yeah, to put the metal
tray between his legs, like this way too, so it grabs his legs and it can't bite down. I'm like, that guy is fucking good.
Like, he's quick on his toes, on his back,
That's why Kay recruited him. Mm-hmm. He was good.
Well, also he chased down like an alien on foot, and he was like, well, because I mean, he even mentions that, and he's like, yeah, but who could chase down like I don't remember what kind of alien it was, but
I forgot. Yeah, gills.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when I started noticing like it was always a good mix of CG and practical. Like obviously the giant fish was CG, but they did do a little bit of like Matrix Revolutions in this and Reloaded, where like Will Smith was like at sometimes completely CG, and you can always tell because like their movements are always like so fluid and unnatural. But like I get it. You have the technology, but there's sometimes when it's like, even like when his hand goes through the fish, it's like a weird CG hand. I was like,
I know, it's like you couldn't give him a prop for that one. You couldn't make a big giant heart to rip out.
But whatever. But yeah, he has like the Matrix body sometimes, where it looks like Agent Smith's suit, where it's like kind of flat black, it doesn't really move.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Matrix, when they go on the roof, that looks like the Matrix rooftops with Trinity's chase scene. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if it's the same ones, but they have that same look of like, get up. That's when Kay runs into Boris on the roof. And I love how everyone calls him Boris the animal, and he's always pissed. He's like, it's just Boris. But then like right before he is about to kill him, Jay opens the door and it's like, grum, 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 grum.
And that was awesome too. And then they fall down that fucking...
That's what's cool, is like the door's this way, and it's like catching their fall while they're doing it. It's like such good... I don't want to say slapstick, but it's like Buster Keaton level of like action.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's clumsy, something's going on, but the door is like perfectly helping them. They like land perfectly all right. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kay is like telling Jay to just fucking drop it. He's like, it's above your pay grade. And I was like, he's like, we're partners. We have the same pay grade.
Yeah.
But everyone keeps using that line against Jay. It's like, it's above your pay grade. He's like, I'm fucking level 1, dude. Like, what am I not getting paid? Yeah. But yeah, he's just telling him, drop it. You don't want any of it.
Yeah.
And then Jay goes to research some of it. And then he gets to a point, but then, he gets like access denied, even though he's like a top level.
And everybody keeps coming to him and going, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Yeah. But how do I know I don't want to know the answer to it until I hear the answer?
Right? Ah, crap, you're right.
Fuck,
I didn't want to know
I
the
wish
answer
I didn't want
to
I didn't want to hear that. Like, it's like, that's...
Damn.
I don't understand that thing, but whatever. But the only bit of information he gets out is it's First one's like Coney Island, where that guy gets killed, that one alien with a big head, and then Cape Canaveral, and then like a specific date.
Yeah.
But I do like, so Boris goes to that one guy that he was in jail with, his son who made the time jump because he's gonna go back in time.
Or wasn't it like his dad that built it, but he has
yeah,
it?
Yeah. And Kay's calling Jay on the phone that night, and it's like he wants to say something, he just like,
but he just
wants to, but he can't, and he's just talking about regret.
And he just sits there, and he's just like, and then Jay just hangs up on him.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then he's got that sick ass fucking like thing in his house where it's just like
fucking armory of like,
yeah, of all those sick alien weapons.
How did you get that in a New York apartment? How big is that New York apartment? Did he like get like that whole level? I mean, I'm sure like the men, like the agency, like gave him a whole floor, but man, he like hollowed those out to get that thing, and just like sitting there like an old man in a rocking chair with a shotgun,
right?
And then disappears.
And then just.
And what was really cool was then all this stuff starts disappearing of his house, and then that other family moves in.
Yeah.
Like with the kids and everything, and then Jay like feels something,
I still don't really. Well, okay, yeah, because they were all there, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they don't remember. Well, they remember him, but he's dead.
Yeah. So like, in the new present, which Jay remembers the old one, was Kay was killed at Cape Canaveral like 40 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
By Boris. So Boris succeeds, and now Jay craves chocolate milk because when he goes over to that house, and he's like, "Is that chocolate milk?" And he just like chugs it and then leaves.
I love that kid. The president's drinking my milk.
Yeah. And also later when he's back at the Men in Black place, and the guy, he's like, "Just give me a chocolate milk, like big fucking chocolate milk." And the guy's like, "Where you been, man? I've been waiting a whole fucking year over here." Just like chugging that down. But like and it's crazy because like minuscule things are different. Like the guy at the entrance is just like some white guy.
Yeah.
He's like, your first day is like, "Oh, it's very funny, Jay." And then
and then his
partner is Will Arnett, talking about some stakeout they did. But this made me think, who recruited Jay then?
Right. Like, how did Jay get a position there if Kay didn't recruit him?
Yeah. Once again, don't think about it too much, people.
It would be cool.
Maybe Zed, maybe Zed did it, or maybe there was some other guy that's like worked at the police station of like, "Oh, hey, this guy ran down a Archelian." No, the Archelians were the big guys. I don't remember his name.
But so all of that's happened. He finds out that Kay's dead because he's like running around MIB going, "All right, everybody's in on it. Where is he?"
Joke's up. And
then even O's like, "Oh yeah, sorry,
he's dead." But then he was like describing things. He's like, "Blue aqua velva aftershave." Do blah blah blah. He's like, and every time we'd get a coffee at the same place, it says, "Tastes like dirt." It's like, what do you expect? It was brewed yesterday or whatever.
It was brewed today.
Yeah, and then she was just like, "Oh shit." And then he's chugging the chocolate milk, and she's like, "How long have you had a craving for chocolate dairy products?"
Just today.
Yeah. She's like, "It's either a temporal like time thing, or it's this brain-eating tick that will kill you." And like how she slaps him, and she's like, "Damn it, it's not the tick."
He's like, "Damn it, it's not the tick."
Something's worse than this.
And it just turns out that the ArcNet that he was given after helping
after defeating Boris the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And putting him in jail.
In the actual history, yeah, he like gets the ArcNet from Griffin. And then
I'd be curious to see how that went the first time around, because not only did the guy lose his arm, but also somehow he got that little creature out of his hand.
But like, part of me though thinks it always it just happens that way, because when Jay's doing the time jump and the dude's like, he's like, "Oh, how come I can still remember Kay?" He's like, "Dude, that means you were there."
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I was like, was he always there then? Because like I also feel like this is why, sorry folks, spoiler alert, this is why Kay like brought Jay in. Once he found out who he was, when he like got older, he's like, oh, that's that guy's fucking son.
But he just happened to be like,
because he's like almost. I feel like he's almost
kind of an
watching
exceptional.
over him,
Well, yeah, that's what
like
it
his
kind of
whole
feels
life,
like toward the end.
Yeah,
But then
you
you're like, well,
realize,
how did he lose track of him somehow and
I
then
doubt
find
it. I
him
feel
later?
like he was always just like keeping an eye on the kid, like,
Which is possible because I mean he sort of like creeps on his ex-wife
quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he was just like Jay's. He just was watching over him, and then when he was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna retire," he's like, "I know the perfect camp."
And then that other scene where he goes, they're talking about their dads, and he goes like, "Oh, my dad," and he goes like, "My dad would like play catch with me, except for he wasn't there, so he never threw it back." And he's like, "Oh, don't badmouth your dad," and like you don't really think about it. He's like, "Well, he wasn't really there, so."
Yeah, dude. It's cool, like knowing the end of the movie and watching it again. It's like you get those moments now. You're like, oh man, fucking Kay knows, man. Like that's, ouch.
And then it's like, okay, then he was always there. So then like, so does Kay not remember older Jay coming?
I think he does. So like, we'll jump to the end on this one, folks. Because Griffin told Jay that if Boris loses his arm, gets arrested, and goes to the moon, everything will reset. Kay doesn't know you're here. But Kay just fucking blasts him.
Yeah.
He just goes, not this time, like the young Kay does, and he blows him up. Mm-hmm. But then when Jay comes back to the present, Kay's like a different person, and he's like, because I think now he knows, like, that fucking weight's lifted on me.
Yeah.
Or off of me. Like, Jay knows the truth now, and he's just like, because even Jay puts, like, the watch down, and he's like, nice. So I think that's why he had that, like, sense of relief, because he had to remember him because it didn't reset because they didn't do it the exact same.
Yeah.
So I feel like he did. Like in my interpretation, the way I want the movie to end was that Kay remembers old Jay coming in, because I feel like that's always how it happened. Like there's no other way the ArcNet got that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on it.
But when it comes down to like time travel and shit, it starts getting a little like the timelines start getting messed up, and I think that maybe like that's why we shouldn't probably really fuck around with time travel. Like if it ever becomes a thing, we probably shouldn't mess with it.
I feel like we're just making I mean, that's why they made it illegal in the Men in Black universe, because
right?
the one guy did it, and they were like, we outlawed it across the galaxy
because it was too easy to fuck shit up. Like too easy to go back and change a bunch of stuff and like just really mess stuff up. But so he. Oh yeah, okay. So he's gonna do the time jump, which is a literal jump.
Yeah, because O told him like, because they're being invaded by the
because there's no ArcNet. He's like, all right, well, let's fire up that ArcNet. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about?
What the fuck's an ArcNet?
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah, because she's like, oh, this guy's son is here. He's the one that made like the time jump thing.
Yeah.
So he goes to like the always going out of business. I like that's their thing, always going out of business. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's cool because that guy's like aware of the Men in Black. He's in the know.
Yeah.
He's like, that's why you wear the black suit, man. He's like, oh man, they should give you a raise. You should wear like 2 black suits, dude. He's like, well, he's like, but first we gotta get high. He's like, no, man, like really high.
Yeah.
Cut to they're on top of the Chrysler building.
Yep.
Yeah, time jump. I like that time jump, literal jump.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, oh, what do you mean? I gotta just like time jump? Like, hello.
I like that when you see the light turn green, it's gonna do some like time travel stuff. Just break the blue line with your thumb. He's like, don't break the. He's like, break the line. No, don't break the line. Wait till it's green. Yeah, you got it, dude. It's like the disconnect between them. It's like, you got it. And it's going to be like 2 feet from the ground, because I like the guy's trying to do the math, and then Jay knows the math more than he does. Like, I think it's like something feet per second or something, and then like, it's like, yeah, it'll be like 2 feet off the ground.
I'm like, screw that, dude.
But yeah, the aliens are coming in and destroying stuff, so he's got to do the jump.
And he's falling, and that thing gets knocked out of his hand. I'd be shitting my pants. My pants would be full of bowel.
There would be a trail of bowel behind this falling body.
Yeah. You know,
But
and
that
if I did, would the bowel come with you? If it, so he got, I mean, he gets the time device.
I think maybe the bowel just splats on the ground, or maybe your pants are pooped when you come back to present day. You come back to present day and your pants are just filled with poop, and you're like, ah, I thought that
When
would go away.
like it just disappears when you travel back.
Yeah, because it hasn't happened yet. You haven't pooped your pants falling yet. But when you come back to the present, you go back
When
up,
he's
and your pants fill back up with the poop, and you go boom, and you land on the thing. It's like,
so
oh,
when he comes back to the future at the end, his pants are just full of
filled
bowel.
with full of bowel, and he's just like, that's why his face is like, oh, there's poop in my pants. Who pooped in my pants? That jump scene was really fucking cool, though.
It was cool.
Like, we're like prehistoric, and then it kind of like, as he's going down, it's changing, and like you can see the Chrysler building being made. And I like when the newspaper hits him and it says stock market crash, and he looks over and there's just like two dudes jumping too. I was just like, ooh, hey.
Like,
ooh.
oh man, you guys are gonna die.
Yeah. Then yeah, like right before the ground. And what's cool is like when I initially saw this movie in the theaters, I thought like he was gonna be close to the ground and then just like drop.
Yeah.
And he goes all the way back up, which is cool. Like it's like you.
I know. I had seen this before, and I still was sitting there like, it'll be great because he's just gonna go plop right on the
Plop.
ground.
But no, he goes
no,
whoop.
I was like, oh, that was so cool. I forgot about that. But then he's like standing in the elevator, and that guy's just like, what year?
It's like that when he's just like looking over the thing.
Yeah.
And it's what I like that line too. The guy who was giving the time jump, he's like, "Oh, what happens?" Then? He's like, "Then you get stuck in the '60s." He's like, "It's kind of like a bad time for people like you." He's like, "It's much better now, man. Like it sucked back then." And it's kind of cool because they do play on that, which is pretty cool because that guy
when he gets pulled over,
scared of him. Yeah, but I like that when he's like trying to read the paper. And he goes, "Dog, let me see the." Like, it's just funny because he uses like the slang of modern day, and it's just these people like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
It's like, "What's the date?" "Oh, the year, man." He's like, "Was that so hard? Jesus."
Yeah, and I'm the crazy one here.
Yeah, I'm the crazy. I'm the crazy one.
And then he goes outside and he steals that like dickhead dude's car.
Convertible. Yeah, pretends to be like a valet guy. When he gets pulled over by those cops. He's like, "Whoa, a car like this?" Like, yeah, and the top comes off, but it's hidden in the car.
Yeah.
An asshole to these dudes.
I know.
"Oh, where'd you get that suit and these guns?" Like, "Well, the guns are from your mom, and the suit's from your grandma," or whatever he says.
Yeah.
But don't touch that thing in my pocket. Just don't touch.
Don't look directly at that.
Like, touch the button, and they do. And I like how he's got the sunglasses on when it cuts back to him.
Yeah.
And then,
I love that.
just because you see a black man in a nice car doesn't mean he stole it. And he's like,
I did steal this one.
Not because I'm black. It's like, this one was good because he got to be like that funny level of Jay. Because the second one he wasn't. He was like more bitter and just wasn't funny. Like the first one, he like he had those funny lines, and like this one, he got to be like proper funny smart ass Jay because I like that. But I stole this one, but not because I'm black. So he's on his way to Coney Island. And
Oh yeah, because it's that big-headed alien. That's...
And there's a little Easter egg of Frank the Pug on like that wall for the circus freaks. There was like it's like the talking pug or whatever, and I was like, it's Frank, because he also has that giant photo of Frank in his apartment when he's like playing video games earlier.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I love Frank the Pug.
I know.
But then young Boris shows up on the beach, and he talks to that couple or whatever. He's like, "Cool bike, man.
Make love, not war. I'd do both."
I prefer to do both. And they're like the ha 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 ha. And he's like ha 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 ha. Just like drives off doing that.
That bike is cool too.
Yeah, it's like round wheels.
Yeah,
so you can kind of like go sideways too. I don't know. There's also a cool Easter egg of the mutant from this island Earth is walking in the background at on Coney Island. There's like that thing in the suit, and I was like, oh, it's the mutant from this island Earth. And I was like, nice. But he's too late because Boris spikes that dude in the head because he's going after people that are like survivors of the planets they've killed and conquered, right?
Yes.
I think that's what I was getting.
Yeah.
And then like he had that guy had a match.
Or he's looking for the. Isn't he looking for the ArcNet or like?
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
like I don't think he realizes that's like exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I think he's like he thinks that somebody who has it is like the last of their kind or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why he's going after him. But that guy had like the matchbook, and this is where you meet young K, because he stops Jay from shooting him, and Josh Brolin does the best fucking Tommy Lee Jones like impersonation. Like even looks like him. Like they didn't have to try hard. I was like, fucking Josh Brolin was like made for this role.
Fucking killed it.
Yeah, like does the voice, the attitude, the face, and everything. Like
Yeah.
It was perfect. Still calls him Slick. Doesn't even know him when he calls him Slick.
Well, he sort of knows him.
Yeah.
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
Like,
but what I love was like
I love how he's just like when he sees him, he's just like K and tries to hug him. And he like zaps him in the neck. I love how it makes his voice like stutters him, and I'm like, damn, that thing is like.
That was also really cool transitions. There were some really cool transitions in this movie of like Jay falls to the ground after he's getting electrocuted, and then the background fades into the MIB, and he's like sitting in the chair, but like he doesn't move. So I was like, whoa, that's fucking cool. Yeah. And there was that one earlier when like Boris was like off the moon and it's zooming out, and then it comes out of the spaceship that had crashed. Bunch of cool transitions in this movie. But when he's at the old MIB, this is fucking awesome. Is that all the aliens are dressed in like 60s aliens clothes of what like aliens in movies in the 60s look like. They're all wearing like the shiny clothes and like the big shoulder things, and it's like
what's funny about that is it makes you think like, okay, so that was really how aliens dressed in the 70s and 60s.
They had their own.
They weren't just making it up.
They had their own clothing things, their own eras of clothing, like we did. So it's like it makes sense, but it's like
it's cool. I don't know if I guess you call it a small detail. It's really big, cool. Well, it's big, but it's small. Like it's not everybody's gonna catch it.
Yeah,
but I did notice
that.
And I thought that was cool.
And it's like it's just fucking cool. It's very clever. Instead of like the aliens looking like modern day, they look like modern day 60s aliens, with like the shiny suits and everything.
Yeah.
But Kay's grilling him. He's like, how'd you know my name? He's like, I just call everybody Kay. Kay, what's up? Like, Kay, it's kind of my thing,
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I call all women O. I know O's feminine, K's masculine, so you get a couple. I was like, okay.
I like how he's like, so what were you doing there? Oh, I was there to meet my girl.
Yeah. What's her name?
Staring?
She's Greek. I gotta get back. It's like, what about these guns? I won those at a game. A carnival game. And what's cool is like K is K, so he knows he's fucking lying. He's just sitting there looking at me. He's like, now I know what you look like when you're lying. And I was like, ooh. But it's a different K. Like, he's, like, more upbeat, more talkative. And he's like, what the... Like, later on, he's like, what happened to you, man? He's like, I don't know. It hasn't happened to me yet. And then you find out what happens to him later.
Yeah.
But I love that. The whole movie's like, what happened to you? He's like, I don't know. It doesn't happen to me yet. So he's not giving him anything. O's there, young O. And, they're, like, a little flirtatious,
Oh, yeah.
They got something going on. Because they were at a pub all night drinking.
I love how he goes like, we were at a pub. A bar.
A bar. Yeah, it's like, I know.
I was like...
I was, watching this band, Mick Jagger, this British band, the Rolling Stones. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And that's that goofy, like, Will Smith from the first one, like...
Yeah.
It's like
this was, like, the true sequel to 1.
Yes.
Like, 2 shouldn't have taken place. Like, this was, like, the real sequel to 1. Like, this just steps perfectly from 1. You're like, got it.
They could have totally brought Kay back with this one. Like, they could have, because he could have just, the whole thing could have just been about Boris going back to fucking kill him, and he could have still disappeared, and then Jay being like, fuck that, and then going back and saving him.
Back,
just so he can be retired, which would still been cool.
Fucking cool. Either way, but I mean, this one they fixed it. They fixed They fixed the second one. They're like, all right, well, we'll fix.
Well, because they had already brought him back, so
yeah. But so they don't believe him, and I mean, Kay knows what to do. They're gonna neuralize him to scare him, but it's like the fucking giant iron lung neuralizer that he like
scary.
has to go in upside down. There's like all the spinning lights, and then he just says, "All right." He's like, "I know you don't believe me." He's like, "Oh, but tomorrow," he's like, "if when you see Boris, just kill him."
Yeah,
just fucking kill him.
Don't try and arrest him. Just kill him.
Yeah, which I think that's when he's like, "Oh,
okay, let me turn this."
Turns off. And this was such a like. Once again, they knew the characters and they knew the actors were doing it, but like, Jay tells them the truth, like, almost all of the truth, other than Kay dying.
Yeah.
But how he's a time traveler, he's from the future, he's sent back in time over Boris, and like he does all this thing, and Kay just goes, "Okay," like just fine with it, just like, "Gotcha, bud. I work for the Men in Black. This is not the weirdest thing I've seen."
Like, wow, thanks for telling the truth.
Yeah, I don't know what you're like when you're telling the truth. And here was a line I had to write down because it was, oh my god, so fucking good. You know, they're in the car and he's like, "We don't." He's like, "What do we talk about?" And he's like, "I don't know. We don't really talk." He's like, "Partners for that long? We don't talk." Like later on, he's looking at him. He's like, "How old are you?" He's like, "I'm 29." He's like, "Oof, got some city miles on you." He's like, "I'm starting to see why we don't talk."
Yeah. That made me laugh too. Some city miles.
Oh man. And then so he's like, "The only clue I got was a factory."
Yeah. And
then the bowling, he's like, "Oh, we have the bowling matches." He's like, "This was a clue." So they go to that bowling alley, and it was great because like he handcuffs Jay to the steering wheel, and then Jay comes in inside and like saves him. He's like, "You still keep the keys under the ashtray." He's like, "Lucky guess."
Yeah.
But like how instantly they fall into being like fucking perfect partners.
Yeah.
And like the rhetoric between them, you know, like they get that dude and he's like, "Oh, you're a bowler." He's like, I'm the best bowler on the team." He's like, "All right, why don't you give it a try?" And he's like bowling with that dude's head. He's like, "Oh man, sorry, it's all wobbly." And he's like, "Why about I clean that for you?" He's like, "Go ahead." And like they're washing the dude's head. Like,
see, and that's the cool like alien cop dynamic thing that like was so like that's really cool. And like he fucking killed it. Dude, for not being Tommy Lee Jones, like fucking killed it.
It's like I believed it instantly.
Yes.
Like you don't really see it as Josh. Like you see Josh Brolin, but in your head you're like, "That's young Kate." That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like Joseph Gordon-Levitt as young Bruce Willis and Looper did not believe that one. Mm-hmm. Still a pretty cool movie, but I did put as many prosthetics on him as you want. Does not look like Bruce Willis. But like this one, like they just slicked his hair and he just did this with his eyes. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they gave him a slightly bigger nose, but like
it might maybe, but that's it.
He's fucking Tommy Lee Jones immediately. I was like, holy shit. But they get that clue because the owner was one of the guys that Boris came after. I like how everyone's like pinned to the wall and also like so fucking gruesome. Like you said earlier, they're just like, it's a gruesome movie. They're like pinned to the wall.
Yeah. And they're always pinned. Like,
yeah.
Like their hands are always like, it's like
they're always like in such like gross positions,
awful it's like agonizing pain, like in the hand and then right in the face, and so they're dead. You know,
and like, so they get the clue. He's like, "Oh, you were sort of right. It wasn't a factory; it's the factory."
Yeah,
and that's Andy Warhol's factory, and then. It's Bill Hader as Andy Warhol, which was great. And he's like, "Yeah, great. I'm just filming these women." Yes. I do like that line. He's like, when there was with the models walking down the stairs, like, "Yeah, it took me a few years of working here to find out that all models were aliens." He's like, "Learn the hard way."
Yeah.
Just that. It's like that cop dynamic between those two.
Yeah.
But you find out that Andy Warhol's Agent W, and he's undercover. He drops the Warhol voice. Like, "What are you doing, Kay?" And he like takes his wig off, and he's like, "You almost blew my cover. I've been painting cans, Campbell's soups and everything."
It's like, "I'm running out of ideas."
Yeah, just painting cans of soup right now.
I love how Jay's just like, I love your work."
Who the hell's this guy? I'm so ready to just bitch slap Andy Warhol right now. He kicks Jay out to like talk to Andy Warhol.
I love that when that lady comes by.
I was about to say the same thing.
Oh, I love how he talks. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm painting this guy eating a
Yeah.
hamburger.
I'm
It's
filming this guy eating a
yeah.
hamburger. It's inspirational. Okay, now the pickle.
The way he has to like get in the voice too is like,
I know.
I'm filming this man eating a hamburger.
I love that.
Now for
No,
the pickle.
yeah.
this is when they're introduced to Griff or whatever.
Yeah, because Jay finds him out in the.
Yeah,
And
and because Andy Warhol was telling Jay's like, or Kay's like, you'll know him. He's a fifth dimensional being. He sees everything all at once, all variables, and so like he's able to. He's like, oh, if this was the one that like the he caught all the red lights or all the green lights, I'll be getting in that door in 2 seconds. Oh, okay, sounds like a day. But he like knows all these things. He's like, oh, the waiter is gonna bump into them and this, and I should probably move my drink now. And then like moves his plate, and right when the plate.
yeah.
But it's cool because he knows all variables of it, so he's like
Yeah.
calculating the ones. He's like, yeah,
It's like,
that's
or
cool.
that could happen, or this one.
Yeah,
Nope, not that one.
okay, good. But then yeah, Boris comes through the window, and I think that's right because Jay just has the regular gun.
Yeah.
He just gave him like a revolver.
Yeah.
And so Jay jumps out the window to chase him, and he does that shit from the first Men in Black where he like jumps on top of the car and shoots him. But this one was great because the guy just drives.
Yeah.
While he's on
He
top
goes
of the
flying
car.
off the car.
Like,
That would
"Woo!"
suck.
But it was cool, like a cool callback to the first one. Like that's what sequels are about. You call back to the first one, you do what worked with that one, and you do it again, but you
Yeah.
overtop it.
And you also don't dwell on the callback.
Yeah, and it's like not just about the first one. Like I don't know, it's hard to get a sequel right. They didn't do it the first time, but they did it the third time.
Very, very much.
Like how we just keep talking about how great this movie is before we even do the review. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If you're familiar with our structure, it's that we have none.
There is no
and
structure.
we go.
The
I guess
reviews
that
are
that
made
is
up. The show is made up, and the reviews don't matter.
Yeah.
They're gonna go get pie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
Like,
and Jay's like freaking out about it. It's like, yeah, we should go get pie, even though
yeah,
like the
The
end of the
world's-
world's literally gonna end.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, my dad said anytime you can't think of something, you eat some pie. And he's like, oh, was your dad overweight? He's like, yeah, a little bit. Like, you know what? Yes, I want pie because I'm so fucking angry right now and the world's going to end. Sure, let's go get pie.
yeah.
And then cut to him just like,
I love how he just like rips the menu.
what I
out.
love is how long that goes, too. That scene is yeah, and just like, what are the and then like right before you can finish, like my partner will have what he always has in a piece of American pie with a slice of cheddar on the side. I'm gonna have strawberry rhubarb because the end of the world's coming, so might as well splurge myself.
I love that. I love when he's like, he'll have what was it? Is it apple?
I think so, yeah.
It's like he'll have a slice of apple pie with a disgusting slice of cheddar on
Yeah.
top of it. What he's gonna do is he's gonna ask you about the specials, and then he's gonna what was it?
He's gonna ask you about the specials twice, and he's just gonna end up picking the apple pie with a slice of cheddar.
Yeah.
Disgusting cheddar. Which apparently that's a thing.
I've always heard it was American cheese though.
Yeah. I mean, back then I guess American was like cheddar or whatever, unless they were just saying cheddar cheese. I don't know how it is, but apparently my grandpa put Velveeta cheese on pancakes. I don't know if it's a depression thing. I don't know. But...
I mean, if it wasn't like a sweet cake, it might be okay.
Yeah. But I've
I know,
heard
like,
I don't
Velveeta
want
is
to
just
try
such
it.
a-
But I've heard people doing that of like cheese on pie, and I go, why?
I know, like I'm just like, oh, I don't know, man. Like,
That's still, I guess, would that be a la mode? Because I mean, ice cream's dairy, so it's like you just get a warm apple pie, put a slice of Kraft on it, let it melt over it, like. So then they get that clue. I forgot what it was. Like, oh, because they were talking about. Because Griff said, it was a miracle. I'll see you at the game.
oh,
Because
that's
the
right.
Mets guys come in.
Yeah, and they're
He's like, it's crazy that these guys don't know the Mets are gonna win it and all this stuff. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, right, buddy.
yeah, no,
No, you're an idiot. And then yeah, he gets it, and he's like, see, I told you the pie would work. He's like, I know where he's at. And he's at the I guess
Stadium.
Dodger Stadium. I don't know what it is. It's New York, whatever.
He's in a stadium.
But it's cool because it's like nighttime, nobody there, and he's just like cheering, and like you don't see what he's saying. He's got Cracker Jacks or whatever. But I do like he puts their hands on him, and then they can see it. It's like
yeah, they're like at the game, which is
even
fucking
like when
cool.
Jay steps back and he's like, and then comes forward and he puts his hand back on him. He's like, but you see that ball there? That ball was stitched imperfectly in the aerodynamics because the one person like that was stitching it that day like had a bad day or whatever like that, and this is how it ends up doing. Like he ends up hitting the ball and does a fly ball and it catches right to that guy. Like it was just this.
But there's even more to the like that ball story because the guy had a bad day because his like wife had like cheated on him.
Yeah.
And then the guy that caught the ball is only there because his dad didn't buy him a football for Christmas, and then he got the baseball. And I was like, man, that's fucking cool.
It's just so cool to see all these little variables stack up to like what you become and where you are in life. So it's like a cool little thing of like takes a lot to get you here.
This is my favorite moment in human history.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, a baseball moment?
I mean, it's a good moment.
I mean, it's pretty cool though if you know all the moments.
Favorite moment.
Like, well, it's gonna be.
Yeah. But then, he pulls out the Cracker Jack box as the arc net. He's like, hey, this is for you. You got to get it out in space. He's like, I don't want your world to die like mine did. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, I forgot to see about this. He's like, I didn't think about this one. And then Boris just comes by and goes, yoink, and grabs him. And lands right on the car, too. So
you're like, oh.
But then there was like fucking cool, like, I don't want to say unicycle, but they're like a singular wheel. Like, I've seen... It's almost
exist.
Like the General Grievous one from Revenge of the Sith.
Except for that thing is sick, but also that one can like it has like arms that can also
it, But this one, he's like, you guys got these in the future? He's like, no.
And I like
the pitch throttle thing. He's like, I did that. He's like, do you have it between 10 and 8 psi? He's like, okay. Just does it, and he just spins right back around.
Those I've seen those like in videos and stuff. They're not like that nice and shiny, but like
that's like a thing.
Yeah,
it's cool. Like the single, and it's
cool
because like the tire goes like that, but they're like still in the middle.
I feel like nowadays tech would allow for something like that a little bit easier because I mean we got like hoverboards and those are like gyroscopically stable and it's just
exactly.
wheels. Anyhow,
Jay gets his gun back too.
That's right.
He gets his gun back. And so they're chasing down Boris, and he has this little crab guy steal the box from Griffin's neck. He's like, did we ever do the old Texas two-step in the future? He's like, yep. I do like when he does like the under the semi thing too, like that side.
Yeah.
He's like, the old Texas two-step on Boris the animal.
Yep.
They get Griffin, and then he blows up. But he doesn't.
Well, he doesn't because he doesn't find him over there.
But there was a cool thing, I think it's during this chase. They drive across the giant globe thing from the first one that the bug ship crashes through at the end, and you see those two towers with the spaceships on top.
Oh, the World's Fair.
Remember, like, hey, old guys, those things still work? Like, that's cool because they drive by that, and I was like, oh, shit, it fucking crashes through that in this first movie. Cool little callback. Yeah. Just a little bit, and that's all you needed was to show that. And I was like, "Fucking from the first one, dude." The old Boris shows up to the young Boris, and he's like trying to open that thing, and it was almost very reminiscent of like the first one when the Boris trying to open the thing of diamonds,
That's what it reminded me of. I was like, "Oh man," and like he made a good villain. It was cool to have like a decent villain.
Yeah, like because that's what was worked so well with the Bug and the Edgar suit in the first one. Yeah. It's like D'Onofrio like killed it as like over the top villain. So like Jermaine Clement did the same thing, but like cool. I don't know. No prison can hold me.
Yeah, I love that.
They make one specially for you, and it's like, oh. And he keeps staring at his arm. Stop staring at my arm.
Oh yeah. I like how even though like he's back to like warn him, his young self is like, I'm not gonna do what you did, you dick. Like,
I won't do what you did. You're a piece of shit. You're dumb.
Yeah.
You failed. I won't.
Yeah. I still haven't done that yet. I'm just gonna not do that. And he's like, "Oh no, it's K, and you will.
You
So you
fucking
gotta do it
have
this
to.
way."
Trust me, I'm older, I'm wiser. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm missing an arm,
Yeah, he blew it off.
which he does again.
That's true. That was a really badass way, which you see why. But he doesn't have the arc. It was Rolaids.
Yeah.
But like that earlier, he's like, "Oh, this. If this is the reality where I eat this, and then your partner offers me the Rolaids that will help my upset stomach and my antacids." And I like that he opens up and it's the Rolaids. I was like, "Oh."
Ooh.
And then you get to see Griffin's like cool fucking head. He like takes the thing off and it's just like and he's got the little
It's like spinning in his head, and he just like takes it out.
puts it in his little guy. And there's the ArcNet. And you got to get it to space. How are we gonna get it to space? Guess what year it is?
It's the 60s.
63. They gotta get to Florida. Oh wait, then yeah, Jay tells him the full truth because he's like, we gotta get to Cape Canaveral. He's like, no, actually, Kay, why don't you stay here? I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And so
that's when that dude tells him, like, nope.
tell truth.
He says
he tells
no,
him-
and it's also he can't just be him.
Yeah, Kay has to be there.
Yeah.
For a reason. But then what Griff says to Jay is, once there is death, there will always be death.
Yeah.
And this is when they kind of start hinting that you think it's gonna be Jay. Spoiler alert, it's not. But like when I first saw it when I first saw this movie, I'm like, oh, Jay's gonna die. He's gonna have to like sacrifice himself for Kay. I was like, oh shit. Dude.
But then I also I didn't remember what happened because I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like, okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Kay or Jay have to die. Just somebody has to die.
But like Griff always looks so sad at Jay about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, is he gonna like when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, he's gonna die. That sucks. So they got to get to Cape Canaveral, Florida, 6 hours. So they use jetpacks.
Those things are fucking cool.
Jetpacks are fucking enormous, which is so cool.
They're awesome. They're like cartoony
60s
big.
style,
They're
yeah.
awesome.
And I like how like the young O has like the same hairstyle as the old one. She has like those like strips that are like curved up. It's like the future one she has short hair, and this one she just has like the big bump it, but it still has like that same like
Yeah.
weird small thing I noticed. Like, oh, she got the same hair. It means she's the same character. That's pretty cool. That's a cool way of doing it. Instead of just saying it's the name and they talk like, she's got the same hair. That's pretty cool. That's cool.
And all these years, she never changed her hair.
I mean, hey, that happens
ish,
to some of
ish.
us, you know? Some of us were just like, hey, you get a cool hairstyle, you stick with it.
Well, yeah, you don't. Why screw up a good thing?
Well, when you got your own look, people know you by that look. Don't fuck it up. Just keep it around.
I know, but then you say things like that, and I'm like, yeah, but it's my look. I'll fuck it up if I want to.
I'll do what I want.
I'm gonna shave every last bit of hair off my body. I wonder if like being being able to see all those realities at once, like if that gets tiring or you just get used to it. He seems like
probably
he's
just
used
get
to it.
used to it because I think that's just their species. Like that's what they live with, you know. Like it's just like us seeing in linear third dimensional time all the time. You know, we're just used to it. But like, yeah, he's just like, I see everything, every possibility, and let's see which one we're in. Like, does that mean he like jumps around to all of them? Like, it's just a lot.
Or he's just is in them.
Yeah, he's just everywhere and nowhere all at once.
Well, I guess like he occupies space, but like is in every time all at once.
Yeah,
It'd be so weird.
it's so weird, but I don't know. I love it. The fifth dimensional thing was pretty fucking rad.
Well, and then like, if you're fifth dimensional and you could occupy that space, can you just jump into that space? Like, or you're just...
It seems like because he just like bails. So like, I don't know if he can just like disappear, because later on in the movie he just like shows up at the end at the diner.
Oh yeah, that's
so like
right.
I don't know if he can just like come in and out where he wants to go, or if like he can just go to a different reality at that point and then go to this point. Like it's just like it's unclear. But once again, we're thinking too far into it.
Yeah, because he doesn't come off as a being that's like, I know everything. Like, look
Yeah,
how
he's just like,
powerful
oh.
I am. He's just like, I exist and this is who I am and I know stuff basically.
Yeah, and I like watching this shit. It's cool. I like humans. My
Yeah.
planet's dead, so I might as well hang here. So like,
Yeah, and he has
it's fun.
Yeah, he likes humanity
Yeah,
and he wants to protect it for some reason.
because he doesn't want them to die like his
I'm like, yeah,
Planet
but
Dane.
I mean, you might feel different in a few years, buddy.
But I mean, it's the planet he occupies, so he's like, I better keep it safe because I'm living here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the place, but I don't want to move again, so...
He seems like he's too nice, though, to be like, I don't like it here.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'll make it work. I'll
He'll
make
ju-
do.
He'll just go to a different reality, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's got to be a better... He wouldn't be chilling in this reality.
If it was
He's in the cool Men in Black reality.
I mean, that's where I want to chill, too.
Right?
I'm fucking jelly. I want to go there. They land at Cape Canaveral, and the military are, like, coming at them. And this is when Kay pulls out that, like, corded neuralizer with the battery pack.
Yeah, and he's got to,
And
like,
it
charge
has that, like, dial-up noise to it.
Yeah, when he, like,
It's
turns
just,
it on.
And another great comedic moment, because it just goes for a very long time. They're just, like, standing there, and, like, just Jay's just, like...
Yeah, because he's sitting there, like, dialing it in and shit, and he's like...
Yeah. And they're still just driving at him. He's like, I got it, man.
And that's when they, what's his name, is like, no, you got to tell him the truth. And he's
The
like,
only way this works in the reality where you guys tell the absolute truth. And he's like, okay. And then they do, and they get immediately
throw him on the
arrested.
ground.
We have to put this thing on top of that rocket up there to save the world. So it's like, this is working. He's like, it's going swimmingly.
And then, of course, they, like, take him, and then that like, one of the military police is like, oh, they're gonna put something up there so they can, like, you know, what was it? The word they used, I was just like, you idiot, dude. You didn't once say that.
It's the military, the 60s military. They're not too bright. They're just paid to protect a rocket.
They told us he was going to put something up there so they could
I
signal
was like,
somebody.
no way,
for the...
no how, sir.
Yeah.
And then a guy shows up, and he's like, Jay tries to give his little speech to it, and then he's like, put him in the brig.
Yeah.
And then Griff, like, touches his
He's
arm
like, oh, no,
and
hold on,
shows
let me
him.
touch you.
Yeah. No, we gotta touch him. And he shows him what he needed to see, and you don't get to see it, and that's cool, but you can kind of guess.
Yeah.
Because all he says later on when he's helping him up the elevator, he's like, hey, man, what did he show you? He's like, oh, how important you guys are. But I think he's like, how important you are. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like,
Like,
oh, you
whoa.
know, that's what my son turns into. Fuck yeah, he's a time-traveling alien cop. Fuck yeah, dude.
I don't know. I would be pretty proud if my kid came back, even though I had to, like, die. I'd be like, whatever, man. My kid
Dude,
is like
whatever.
a fucking time-traveling alien cop. That is sick.
Approval from dad. Dad approval.
Yeah. They're trying to put the ArcNet.
ArcNet.
Well, Kay is trying to put the ArcNet on top. And Jay is doing his badass, like, you know, what he does is the distraction, but, like, really good at it.
Yeah, he's so good at it. Like, because it was just like the first one where he's distracting the bug, where he's just, like, taunting it, you know, getting the shit kicked out of him, but, you know, in a way to help out Kay. Like,
But then, like, in a smart fucking way gets the shit kicked out of him. Because he uses it to time travel. Because he runs at Boris after he gets up, and he shoots him, like, in the shoulder, and he memorizes...
Yeah, because he
where he's
grabs
getting
them, and then
hit.
they jump off. And then, yeah, when they come back up, he, like, memorizes where all the shots are going to be. That's impossible.
And he's so, like, what the... How did you know what I was going to...
Yeah.
So he's, like, stunned at that point. He throws him... Well, he didn't throw him, but he, like, pushes him off of the...
But yeah, like, that's so cool, because it's, like... It just... That's how I wanted Jay to be in the second one. Like, a fucking badass. Like, hard... Like got his shit done. Because he's a
clever,
badass
like, fucking
cop.
clever. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
clever.
Yeah.
Like,
so
a very
that's-
smart, like, dude. And that's...
I think 2 just made him too stupid and,
Yeah.
like, too much of a crybaby. But, like, this one was cool. He was resourceful. He doing his fucking job. He's helping protect Kay, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I do like that on the elevator ride. And he's like, oh, I can see why I recruited you. And I was like, nice. Like, I probably won't be able to say goodbye or anything, you know, since I gotta leave. But it's been an honor, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, they're fighting 2 Borises at once. I like that, the younger one, and he shoots that freezing stuff, and it gets on his arm and breaks his arm off. Like, this is my partner, yeah! when he puts... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Like, because I was just going to say, it would be fucking scary to be up there, and the way he just, like, jumps and, like, grabs onto stuff, I'm like, good God, dude.
Both of them do. Like, fucking
I'd be
Jay
like,
is just, like,
all right, here we go.
swinging around. I'm
All
like,
right, here we go. Oh, shit. Okay, here we go. I'd be like,
I can't do it. But they're like, nothing. I mean, he's just, like, doing cool fucking
Yeah, like
monkey
even
bar
yeah,
thing swinging up, and like both of them, and like Kay jumps from that thing to the top of the fucking shuttle.
yeah, and then when he jumps back down, just grabs those like pipe
Yeah,
thingies that are hanging
and
there,
it's
and I'm
just like,
like,
God, dude. I do like the guys in the space shuttle too. He's like, if we report this, they'll have to scrap the launch. He's like, I didn't see nothing if you didn't.
all right,
Cool. But then Jay doesn't end up jumping because young Boris is still out there.
yeah,
He's like, oh shit, like I gotta make sure Kay survives this. So Kay zip lines down first and runs into what you find out is Jay's dad at the end of the movie.
yeah.
They're gonna get out of there. He's like, hey man, if you ever need a job, I know a place that would love to hire you.
And he's like, nah, it's all good. I'll just.
I got my kid, and then gets shot
Yep.
right in the heart
And
by young
Boris.
Boris.
Yeah,
And this is when like you get to see the cool parts of Boris, because you see like he has those like, and you like see a little bit of it when he's like, it's just Boris, and like the weird eye things around him, but then he
Yeah.
like completely opens up on this scene.
yeah,
Like
and
physically, not emotionally, people. Like
Yeah, he's
physically
like-
opens up.
yeah. It's cool. Like,
Yeah, come
they-
on, Kay, arrest me.
and then at that point, I'm like, how the hell did he arrest him?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
he's,
what's
like-
that thing is terrifying, and yet Kay was just like, yeah, I took him down without killing him.
Like, I would have been like, I want to know how you did that, dude.
Yeah.
Like especially after seeing how he was and like what he could
How did
do, I'm
you
just like,
do that.
and especially young Boris, what the
Yeah.
hell, dude? The
What the fuck?
guy was fucking crazy and scary.
But yeah, and then the guy dies, and he shoots Boris. He goes, not this time. And the little kid comes out of the car.
And
His
you're
name
like,
is James.
Ooh.
And then you're like, oh. And then even Jay's just like watching it from the hill this whole time. I'm just like, oh, shit.
Is that?
He's like,
Oh,
man.
Ooh.
It's like, where's my dad? He's like, he's on a very important mission right now, but he told me to take care of you and protect you. Is he gonna come back? How about you look into this thing, and all I can tell you is that your dad loves you and everything like that.
Yeah.
Neuralizes him.
Which is probably the best.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, how you going to be like, oh, yeah, Boris the animal, like, killed your dad.
Yeah.
Don't
What's
worry,
that?
you'll figure it out later. Actually,
Yeah.
you already know, kinda. So
Kind of. I don't think he knew in that moment, because he doesn't know Jay's real name is James. You know,
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, this poor kid, I'm going to help this kid. And then, I think later on, Kay finds out who that kid is. He's like, oh, shit, I better watch over this kid, and then recruits him later on. So, like, yeah, I feel like Kay knew the entire time that, who Jay was, and I think that Kay remembers Jay being in the past with young Kay. I'd like to think so. That's the way I want it. But, tearjerker of a moment.
it
Jay-
was. Because,
It
I
was.
mean, like,
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it in the theaters, I was choking up on that part too. I was like,
oh, yeah,
I'm
because
fine.
you're just like, oh, man, that's his dad. Oh, man.
oh man, and then
And then- The movie is, like, good, so you're just like, oh, man.
wow. And then like this is the whole reason Kay this whole time just doesn't really tell him anything, because it's like, dude, your dad died. I was partially responsible, so I fucking looked after you and raised you. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And he comes back and he's like, did we talk on the phone last night? He's like, did we go to a Chinese restaurant? He's like, yeah, you hung up on me. He's like, and what about these aliens? Like, been extinct for 40 years. Awesome. Cool. Pulls out the watch. Basically like, I understand, dude. I get it.
They're like,
I
cool.
get it.
All right.
And then, Griff's like, oh, this is my favorite part in human history. Unless this is the one where Kay forgets to leave a tip, and he looks over and nothing, then looks up, and there's that fucking, like, meteor coming towards Earth, and then Kay comes back in and leaves.
Almost
and
forgot to leave a
forgot. Yeah, then that satellite just goes and explodes. I was like, that's fucking cool. As a fun ending, I don't know.
It was a cool
Fun
movie.
movie.
It just worked. It was Men in Black.
What
Like
it should've been.
after the first one, like that's Men in Black, and that's what I think I expected when I saw the second one. That's not what I got, but I totally got it in the third one, and it was awesome.
All right, folks, we're about to tell you something super secretive. Not a whole lot of people know it, but we think that you're ready for it.
We do. Get close. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about a website. It's called projectnerd.com. Project-nerd.com. And there you're going to find us, your favorite. You're going to find some other really fun things to watch, unboxings, other reviews, interviews, things of that nature, nerdy things of that nature. But don't tell anybody else. Actually, maybe you should. Tell a few people. You can tell.
Hang on. That was a fake person walking by. Anyway, tell your friends, but don't tell your friends. Project-nerd.com. Check it out.
All right, a review for Men in Black 3. Well, I feel like I've been saying how I feel about it this whole time. I haven't put a number on it though. I'll put a number on it, and it's definitely friggin' cool. Like, it's a cool story. Like, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with like a cool time travel story.
Yeah, if you can do it right.
Yes. Okay. Yes. If you can do it right. I do dig time travel. I like time travel movies. I like how they mixed time travel with an already established universe.
Mm-hmm.
That works. Sometimes that doesn't go over very well. Sometimes it's really cool. This time it was fucking cool. There were callbacks, but it wasn't like number 2 where it was like endless callbacks. This one wasn't just pandering to the Jay being a leader or whatever his nonsense was in the second one. It was about their cool like partnership. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones isn't in it the entire time, but what was his name?
Is. Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin
does basically is.
Friggin' fantastic job at playing young Tommy or young Kay.
Young Lee Jones.
Yeah. And I'm babbling about this. It's a cool movie, so I'll just go ahead and rate it. I'm going to give it 9.5 little hand aliens out of 10.
Like, it does have an eyeball and he like pets it. That was cute. Yeah, same. We've been praising this movie the whole time, comparing it to the second, comparing it to the first. There's not much more else I can say. Fun fucking movie, cool time travel stuff. Will Smith was funny in it again. Josh Brolin's amazing. And I love Jermaine Clement. It's just a fantastic movie all around. If you want to hear me talk about it more, rewind the episode and listen to me blabber on about it again. But I'm going to go with the 9.5 neuralizers. That's how I feel about this movie. The first one gets a 10 for me because it's perfect.
Yeah.
The third one gets a 9.5. 2, fucking not even going to go there.
Yeah.
But here we are. But yeah, that's Men in Black 3. You should go check it out.
So thank you, Caden and Allie. Awesome.
Thanks for the pick. It was quite good. It was nice to see this again. I hadn't seen it since it came out in the theaters, and it was worth it. So check out Men in Black 1, 2 if you want to, and then watch 3.
Yeah, definitely watch 3.
But yeah, for Two Guys, One Film, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Dane.
And we're about to neuralize you so you forget this episode so you want to watch it again. Put your sunglasses on.
I got my sunglasses. I just put them on.
I'm wearing mine.
Those will be fun.
Neuralize in 3, 2, 1.